So again, we're back to the Ten Commandments. And it's real clear what the Bible says in all of this. I am the Lord your God who brought you out. Go ahead and go to the next verse. You shall have no other gods before me. Like I said, God is love. So if we have God in our heart, we will be loved. You shall not make for yourself carved images. Because here's another thing that we tend to... We focus too much on this. And this in itself can still go through if it's put in the proper perspective. And sometimes we focus on this. But when we put them together and we make it a focus, and it's the work of our hands, it's not going to make it through. If we put too much against money, and we put too much against work, and we don't focus on God, we can't put other things first. We can't put football first. We can't put activities first. God has to be first in our lives.
Right.
Go to the next commandment. You should not take the name of the Lord of God in vain. And that's again what I was talking over here about lying. That right there, and what we're talking about now, all of these things we're talking about are associated with sin. So they won't go. It doesn't matter how small, it doesn't matter how little of a lie, how dishonest. The tiniest little lie is associated with sin, and God says it can't go. Next one. We already talked about the Sabbath. Next one. Honor your mother and father. That's called obedience. It's called respect. Next one. You shall not murder. I mean, that was clear. Everybody will be given. Well, and even some of this, because of this, people do get away with it. You know what? They get away with it in here, but they won't get away with it in here.
Yeah, that's right.
Next one. Should not commit adultery. We already talked about that. Again, the world seems to be fine with it these days. Very forgiving. Next one. Steal, we talked about. False witness against your neighbor. Again, that's the lying. We can't lie against our neighbor. That's associated with sin. Won't go through. Next. Should not covet your neighbor's house. So that's associated right there with envy. Next. That was the last one? Okay. So, the long and the short of it is, we build up these roads. In a lot of cases, we all probably, one time or another, have had both roads. Through our parents, we've obeyed them. We started going to church. We've built a road of Christianity. We've lived that road. We've walked that road. And we're able to pass through it. Any point in time during that road, should something have happened to us, we could go through. Because it wasn't about self. But unfortunately, a lot of the time, we end up picking up one of these things. We pick up the money side. We pick, well, not necessarily the murder, the cheating, the sex or lust, pornography. We pick up the strife. We pick up the bitterness. And we go through this door. And when we do, we won't go through that door. And God forbid that you're going through this door with one of these things that's sin, and your life ends. Because this is the road, and Joshua, back to the very first verse. Because this is the road that leads to destruction. All of these things go into destruction. They stay over there. They're over here. They're going to stay over there. You can't take these things out of this door and into this door. They won't make it. But narrow is the way. And if you notice, it is a tight fit. And it does, if you look on there, it continues to say, which is very difficult. It's difficult because you have to put things in perspective. You have to leave certain things behind. You can't take those things with you. God comes first, everything else is second. The choice is yours. Which road do you want to go?